It was the end of 2022 and I had just finished college. But instead of feeling like I was stepping into a bright future, I felt empty. Loneliness weighed on me and deep down, I craved connection. I struggled with self-worth, constantly wondering if I was ever enough. My days blurred into one another, filled with routine, but no purpose. I would scroll through social media, watching others seamlessly thrive, while I felt stuck. And I started questioning everything. Like, was I ever going to find my real place in life? Was I ever going to feel like I belonged? But you know how the story goes. I met a girl and I felt something that I had never ever felt before. And I thought that she was the answer to a lot of my problems. I thought that she was the missing piece in my life. And for the first time, I felt like someone truly saw me. You know, we'd text every day, laugh at the most random things. And I started picturing a future with her. But just as quickly as she entered my world, she also vanished. I was ghosted, heartbroken, and numb to the pain. I actually started taking things with her that I shouldn't have been taking, even after we had broken up. At first, it was just a way for me to escape. And probably for her too. But before I knew it, I was relying on these external pleasures to make me feel better, to escape from that which I should have faced. It felt like I was stepping into a version of myself that I didn't even recognize, a version that didn't care anymore. And instead of learning from the pain, I ran from it. I started seeing relationships as disposable and never really letting anyone in. It was easier for me to keep things at a surface level rather than risking getting hurt again. And I convinced myself that I didn't need deep connections, that chasing temporary highs was better than the feeling of being empty inside. I surrounded myself with distractions, partying, meaningless conversations, spending time with the wrong people. But the stuff that actually was good for me in the moment left me feeling so empty and alone inside. And the things that were good moments that were for me and made me feel like a better person towards other people and myself, the meaningful conversations that I could have had, left me feeling even emptier afterward. And I thought that getting a job would give me stability, right, because I just finished college, but all it did was make me feel trapped. The stress, the routine, and I started smoking like so much as well. And that was all just for cope. Every single morning it felt like a battle to get out of bed. And every bit of work I did just felt meaningless, only to pass time. I had no real goals, no real sense of direction, and it wasn't long enough before I looked in the mirror and realized that I was just completely lost. I had no idea who I was anymore, and for the first time, I was forced to confront myself. But the thing was that is I didn't know where to actually start. I still remember the exact moment it hit me. I was in the gym, trying to distract myself from everything. And that's when I caught my reflection in the mirror. Like, actually caught my reflection. None of these, poses of, oh, look at me in the gym. I genuinely saw a deeper part of me that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And instead of seeing progress like I normally would, fabricating that which I don't want to think about, the things that I want to escape, all I saw was someone who I didn't even recognize. And my confidence was shattered. And it wasn't that I was failing physically, okay? I actually started to build some progress in the gym, but I was failing mentally, emotionally, in every way possible. And the worst part about it is I was lying to everyone around me, pretending like I had it all together, when in reality I was drowning in insecurity. I avoided eye contact with people, walked with my head down, and I knew that something within me, within my heart, told me something had to change. But then where do you even begin when everything feels like it's falling apart? And I believe that moment in the gym was one of the few wake-up calls I've had in my life up until this point. And so I realized that I had only two options: to keep spiraling or to take control. So I started doubling down. I stopped chasing approval, stopped trying to be who I thought people wanted me to be. I focused on building myself from the ground up. And for the first time, I actually embraced who I really was. I cut out distractions. I faced the pain rather than actually running away from it. And it wasn't easy. Every day I had to fight the urge to not fall back into my old habits. But I kept pushing, one small win at a time, one step at a time. And slowly, things started changing. Fast forward, here I am, with just over 25,000 subscribers. A platform where I share my journey. Not because I have all the answers, but because I know what it's like to feel completely lost. And if my story can even help one person to get back on track, then this is all worth it. This was the beginning of something that I didn't even know I could do, but the stuff that I have that I need to tell you about. Looking back, I realized that the hardest moments in your life are the ones that will shape you to be your best self. And for the first time ever, I don't feel like I'm just alive. I feel like I have a purpose, a mission to serve now. Have you ever looked in the mirror and not recognized a person staring back at you? Like somewhere along the way, you became someone who you never wanted to be. I know that feeling. I've lived that feeling. The heartbreak, the loneliness, the cycle of trying to be someone I wasn't, just so I wouldn't feel empty. And for a long time, I convinced myself that this was normal, that this is what life just was supposed to be. I mean, it's not like I had an amazing group of friends that, were at a level that I could look up to. No. Until one day I finally asked myself the question that changed everything. Just a quick breakthrough. If you've ever felt a fraction of what I'm talking about, I've got something for you. It's free, it's simple, and it's gonna actually help. Check the link in the description. But back to the story. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in a life that isn't yours, comment down below, because I've had moments like that so many times, and I just never seem to break out of it, up until obviously being able to do that now, because it's been on my mind for so long. And now I've learned the stuff that I'll teach you on how you can also avoid this feeling, right? Of feeling stuck and feeling like you're never going to become someone. So comment down below if you've kind of had a similar experience here. And I really want to know one thing that maybe your parents or your friends, especially yourself, what would they be screaming at you to do right now? Like, what's holding you back? Because they laughed at me. Everyone laughed at me. They doubted me. And for a while, I doubted myself too. Just a little while. And I remember one moment in the gym, someone literally laughed in my face when I was trying to tell them that I wanted to improve, and that I told them I was building something bigger for myself. They laughed. They simply said, "You really think anyone cares about what you have to say?" And I won't lie, that moment stung. But it also fueled me, because I realized something. Hate always comes from below. No one above is ever going to try to pull you down. At least not here in the community that we're building. And from that day forward, I made a promise to myself. I wasn't going to prove them wrong. I was going to prove myself right. And that made all the difference. Join my free community below, and I'll see you on the next one. Until next time.